show in February of 2023.
January was the longest year ever.
I like that one. And this cold weather is about to give us a break here. I know the weather's going to spruce up a little bit here. A little rough out there lately.
Although you're escaping tomorrow.
I did.
I know.
We don't tell anyone that, but yeah, definitely going to get out of here for some warmer weather. But again, we love Michigan, and we do mortgages, and I'm glad you brought it up because we do so many second homes now. And again, we talk about these windows of opportunity here and even Southeast Michigan. Same thing with Florida. If you think you're going to wait until springtime to buy down there, well, prices aren't going down at all. And we see that in all parts of the country. Beck, I got people in South Carolina and Georgia and Texas. You name the warm destination, including Arizona, they want to buy.
Yeah, like what I really pride ourselves on, a lot of people don't know, but we are a national lender. So we are licensed in all 50 states. You know, obviously as a loan officer, you have to be individually licensed. So I'm personally licensed, I think, in like 15 states. Harvey's got multiple states. But so we are in tune nationally. So we know what's happening in Texas and in Colorado and the Carolinas, but we're very hyper-focused, obviously, in our backyard, Michigan. And so when you hear a lot of this stuff on the news, right, the doom and gloom, it's these like national numbers. And as soon as you hear it online or read it online, it's expired, right? That's that's misinformation. We've already moved on from that. And, you know, we actually, you know, the Fed, they just announced another rate hike of another 0.25%, but it actually, interest rates pulled back because people think that the interest rates are tied to what the Fed is doing. And when I say the interest rates, I'm talking about mortgage rates. They are not. Typically, a mortgage rate it's going to follow what inflation is doing. So as we are seeing inflation pull back, that's why you're also seeing these interest rates settle down a little bit. So they're not going to the moon, right? They were higher, but the rates that we saw in the last 2 years, we were just spoiled. I mean, they weren't really real. It was just artificially deflated, you know, over the last couple of years, and you either took advantage of it or you didn't. And you can now leverage that property eventually to be a rental home or a second home for somebody else.
Well, it doesn't make for sexy radio at all, Becky, but the LLPAs, the low-level pricing adjustments, are coming out too. So again, the folks that lend the money, Fannie Mae and Freddie
what's the
Mac,
LLPA, right? So people don't know what that is.
Let's give them a little bit of that. Well, I'll give you a little bit of that. Well, it's going to cost you a little bit more if you're purchasing a house and you have bad credit. There you go. So if you're putting down 5%, your credit score is over 760, well, it's no big change. But if your credit score is 680, 690, and we're just squeaking you into a conventional mortgage, you're going to get nailed on the interest rate. It's going to cost you more to get that program. So it goes for everyone. Every lender across the United States is going to be feeling this burden. And actually, Becky, it makes FHA and VA loans sort of back into play a little bit because FHA is not going to have these same loan level pricing adjustments that we're seeing right there on the conventional side.
Yeah, and I do want to add to this because I looked at these. They're called loan level price adjustments, right? So what does that mean? It's your loan amount will affect your interest rate. Your credit score affects your interest rate. You know, there's multiple factors. So when you're just calling around saying, what's your rate, because people don't know what, you know, not intelligent questions to ask, but that's the only question they know how to ask, right? But you can't just spout off a rate over the phone without knowing what your credit score is, what are you putting down. But one of the things that I noticed is that 80% down, so if you're 20% down, so people think I have to put 20% down, that area actually is going to have worse pricing than if someone's putting 5% down. And it's not a capital mortgage funding thing. That's a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac thing. So the point that I'm bringing up is sometimes that $30 that you're paying in the private mortgage insurance or the PMIs, whatever one identifies it as, that $30 that's going to save you $20,000 up front is actually going to give you a better interest rate a little bit. And in turn, you can always keep that money in your pocket and then put bigger chunks down as you're moving forward to get rid of it. So there's different ways you can skin the cat to achieve that financial goals. But we're here to analyze the situation and we do take time to do it. We're not just going to take 5 minutes with you. We actually really have long, lengthy conversations about what's going to be the best for our clients.
Yeah, we talk about the debt to income ratio too, Beck. So it falls into play there, families with over a 40% back end ratio. So sometimes this happens. One of the buyers we leave off the transaction. And again, it because your spouse, it could be not making a lot of money, maybe even has some bruised credit in the past. So by eliminating them, your back end ratio is a little bit higher. We know you can afford the house. We're just not using your wife, your whatever the situation is, the other co-signer income. So again, without getting into full detail, loans are always changing. The mortgage industry, the real estate industry, it's always changing, sometimes for the good and sometimes for the bad.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've been on a roller coaster for the last couple of years. I mean, and I'm really empathetic to the buyers as well. I mean, you know, I feel like, you know, I know you guys, if you're looking at houses, you're putting in these offers, you've been through the ringer, and there's that buyer fatigue a little bit that's happening already because people got out because it was too competitive. Now they're getting back in and it's already becoming too competitive. So, we understand. And if you're a first time home buyer and you're now competing with people that have cash and they're trying to, build up their investment portfolios, we understand. But, when whose name's on that pre-approval sometimes is going to help you shine. And I know there are some buyers or some sellers that want to see their home go to a family. They want to see someone that's going to, care for that home, not just, rent it out. And, so just stay in there because the right home is going to come along. But we want to hear from you, so give us a call, 248-539-9797. If you're out there and you're trying to buy a house and you've been beat out, we want to hear just what your experience has been. And maybe we can kind of give you some, some tips and, to kind of get you to the next level, because you just got to stay in there and work at it.
Isn't it always about communication, Emily? I mean, at the end of the day, we got buyers and sellers. Well, let's go back to the nuts and bolts of this whole industry. We've got wonderful buyers. They're ready to go. They're excited. And now it all really falls down to the communication, getting them to find the right house, and then the communication between the sellers and you guys.
Agreed. And also about perspective, like the two of you were saying. I mean, it's communication, it's educating. I feel like we've talked to more clients, than ever. We've had so many conversations because they're trying to figure out what's the best time, like Becky was saying. Is this the time? But like you mentioned, Becky, and it's something I harp on all the time, is affordability. In other states, people think, the home values have gone up so much in our area. Well, we were undervalued. I really do think we were. And, certain, forces, low interest rates and lack of supply push them up. But like you said, Harvey, I've had so many people come to me. I just sold a property to, I was a listing agent. The gal was a first-time buyer. She was probably almost 50 from what I could gather. She was buying her first property. It was completely move-in ready, a move-in ready condo for $255. She was over the moon, had been renting her whole life. Yeah. Just like there's so many good stories, and, she just couldn't believe what she could buy.
That's a great story.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was her rent was going up, so she was faced with that, so I just see a lot of opportunity. I think we all do, that this is just a different time, but there's so many great things that are happening.
Yeah,
so.
And it all starts with that conversation. And like I actually had I have an older client, and it was her first time buying a home, but it was also the first time anyone in her anyone has really owned something, and it was this big moment, and it was like something that she never thought she could do, and to be attached to that milestone moment, it's like our own guilty pleasure. And and I did a post on my social media, about kind of what drives me. And it's because I struggled. I came from nothing. I had to work very, very hard. And so, we take a lot of pride, and we, and we own our craft. You can't fake it till you make it, like I said. And when you can attach that and help someone's dreams come true and have their own home, and they don't have to rent anymore, it's such a beautiful experience to watch their eyes light up. It's really special.
I think that's kind of what sets good agents and good people apart from others, is the clients can tell if you care about them. I think they can tell if you have their best interest, and I think that's kind of, in this market especially, it's not just about like doing your job or making money, but it's like, what can you do to help these people? Because it's like a scary time, and people are stressed. And if it's your first house, like Emily, when I bought mine, it's like, I appreciated you walking me through it step by step and helping me understand, whether it's your agent or your lender.
She's genuine advice, honesty. Those things can't be wrong. They're just right. And especially in real estate, those are the things that really shine.
Yeah.
And seeing the smiles on everyone's faces. You guys threw out condominiums. All right, so I got a lot of first-time home buyers calling me. And that educational piece is really teaching people, boy, that association fee's great. You don't have to do anything. On the other hand, it's a lot of buying power back. There's no doubt about that. And we're seeing these association fees really starting to perk up a little bit. So you got to work that into your budget. You got to have your lifestyle all figured out, because, like I said, $400 in association fees, it's something like $60,000 in buying power.
Yes. So if you are buying a condo, you need to make sure that's communicated with your lender, whether it's us or whomever, because that definitely is going to dip into what you're actually going to be able to afford. And you also want to know, what are you getting with that association? Like, what are the amenities? How does that affect you? Because on the lending side, we have to really do our due diligence with these associations to make sure that they're managing their budgets. Is there checks and balances? And I actually just had a deal fall apart at the 11th hour right before the first of the year because we needed a status letter, and they weren't giving us this information, and they were holding it back. And I was like, look, get me this letter. Well, they were holding it back because they were about to bomb everyone with this new assessment that was going to take their association from $300 to $800.
Holy.
And it was going to now affect whether that condo was going to be warrantable in the future. And we decided, because the buyer was putting down a big chunk of money as a business decision, we would do it. But I had to communicate that with my buyer, and I said, look, the seller is agreeing to pay this assessment in full because they know it's going to affect whether they're going to sell this or not.
Yeah.
But this is going to affect whether you can maybe sell it later on down the road because of all these things that are happening. And I was like, I just need to be honest with you. And she said, I don't want to do that. And so we just squashed it. Everyone was okay with it except for the seller, obviously. But that condo still hasn't sold because of that. And because I'm not trying to kill a deal, but you have to do what's right for your client. And I talked to the buyer's agent. They all understood. And now she just closed on a brand new other condo that she feels more comfortable and she actually liked better anyway. So things happen for a reason. But condos, it's a different animal. And you can't be dealing with a rookie shop when you're dealing with condos. And whether it's FHA, VA, there's definitely checks and balances that go along with that.
We see that so much in real estate. What's meant to be is meant to be. Again, we were so bummed that we missed out on that house. The next one's always better. And so that's a little good advice out there to pat someone on the back and say, hey, don't worry about this. This is going to work.
It's okay to say
plan.
no.
Yeah.
A no equals a yes sometimes.
No's good. All right, we got our special guest, Emily Ford, Nicky Warner, Morgan Milzo, and Ford out in the downtown Clarkston area. Of course, they do entire Metro Detroit region. And just a great, great history. And, something we're going to give kudos to I told you to invite your mom in anyways. I love the old timers. They got the old stories. I was probably in their bed knocking on your mom's door about 25 years ago or 30 years ago. Yeah, please just send me my first deal and all that. But it takes a while to get started in the industry. But once you get your feet down, you quickly realize that it's all about servicing the consumer and how to build that relationship up. Again, you sell a house, they're going to hopefully come back to you in the next couple of years. And you guys must see that quite a bit with repeat buyers.
Absolutely. Like, we're an independent, we call ourselves a boutique firm because, like Nicky said, we go the extra mile. We just really work together. We collaborate as agents within our firm with other agents. I have so many great agent friends. They're just wonderful. And, that's like you said, Harvey, that is the best part about our business, the repeat buyers. And I know a lot of you are listening right now because you're texting me, but they're just my wonderful clients. And, I work with, sometimes I work with the parents first and I work with the kids or vice versa. So that's so cool just seeing that, interaction. And I'm looking forward because it's my 21st year in real estate.
Yay!
So thank you. And I feel like I'm just getting started.
All righty. All right. We got a little quick break here. When we come back, 248-539-9797. Nicky is going to share a whole bunch of more great stories with us.
And we're going to talk about who pays for the appraisal on an FHA flip. Let's talk about that.
We'll come back with a whole lot more. 248-539-9797. Keep it here.